Sexy. So I thought while we were grinding Gettysburg 77, we would play something a little lighter. So I thought we would try Against the Odds, Birth of a Legend, Lee in the 7 Days. So this is a Mike Rinella game from Against the Odds, and it's area movement. I think she's got 3 of them. I guess it's a series. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a series. So I thought we'd give it a shot. I played a couple of Mike's other area movement games. I think he's got 1 or 2 out there with Revolution that I played. They're pretty cool. It's like a different, just a sort of a different look at wargaming, considering most of what I do is hex and counter. All right, so this would be right after Lee took over for Johnston, and out in front of Richmond, McClellan was closing in on Richmond, and Lee decided, well, we need to throw them out of here, so let's get aggressive. Always outnumbered, but he put in some plans to work his way around because apparently I don't even know if they were the Army of the Potomac at the time. I don't think they were, but or was it the Army of Virginia or something? I don't know. But anyhow, they weren't positioned all that well. From what I saw in the initial setup, it wasn't too bad. So pretty much following in the steps of Lee, with breaking out from the right above Richmond here and trying to swing through this way. There's not really any terrain benefits, so to speak, like you would in a hex counter game, up a hill or things like that. But if you're attacking across a major river or a minor river, or you move to another area and there's no road going to the area, there's a penalty. You waste additional movement factors for that. But when this thing started, the Union fought really hard up here in the area of Emerson's Mills, Walnut Grove, Gainesville, in this area up here. They actually fought pretty hard. But between Ewell, Jackson, and D.H. Hill, you can see his entire brigade or division's off the map now, and A.P. Hill and Longstreet, and then Stewart's cavalry sitting over here. They were just outnumbered above the Chickahominy up here. So the Confederates eventually won this area up here, and the small cavalry force, I tried to get some reinforcements up here to help with where Stewart started at, which was over in here. And yeah, I couldn't quite get enough because Stewart had a bunch of independent units also in there with him that helped. And of course, when this starts, the Union supply train, which is one of the key elements in this game, is up here at White House Landing. Okay, and you have, starting on game turn 2, the Union has the option to start moving that thing down to Harrison's Landing. All right, down on the James River down there. All right, which is what they need to do because that's where all their naval vessels were. So there was really not too much of a struggle up in here. Stewart, Jackson, Longstreet, A.P. Hill, they just sort of, as they fought through here and trying to recover forces where the Union gets to recover more than the Confederates do. And you have an advantage, Chit, on the impulse track where, depending on what side it's in favor of, they have special benefit they can use. And then they expend the chit. It goes over to the other side, which, so like if the Confederates use the advantage chit, it flips over to the Union side. And then when McClellan uses it, it flips back over to the Confederate side. It just goes back and forth. Didn't burn it up too much. Mostly I think on the first turn I used it for Lee to get an advantage with two forces in one area attacking at the same time or moving at the same time and attacking. And then, of course, Lee gets to do that once a turn, or one impulse during a turn anyhow. So, but I reached a point where I said, well, you know what? The Union probably would be better since their front line was right in here, okay, in these areas here, looking towards Richmond. The Confederates were out in front of Richmond. And I thought, okay, well, that river's a good defensive line. So we'll start there. We'll pull back the forces we could from up here. We'll give up White House Landing and move the supply train. I think we did that on like the 3rd turn of the game. And they are no longer in transit now. It takes 3 turns for the trains to move from White House to Harrison. So they're down here in Harrison's Landing now. And so that makes the objectives where the Confederates have to take White House Landing, which they've already done that up here. They already own that. You see there's no USA flag in there. And they have to take Malvern Hill, which is right here. Well, we all know what happened to that historically. And here's the dilemma. We're now in the last turn. And I don't see it happening. Probably going to have to make some silly attack. Of course, everybody will reset on this turn, but these forces aren't strong enough to shoot down in here and attack Malvern Hill. And they entrenched. No, they're not. Well, Malvern Hill here, can't even get to it, to be honest with you, because this river cuts that area off from this area. And then Malvern Hill's got a +4 defense on it, so I don't see it happening. There's no possible way the Confederates can get down there. Good thing about this game is you can blow through this game pretty fast. Now, here's one of the things that was slowing me down, or that can slow you down in this game here. It's called the sunset die roll. So here's your impulse track over here, and there's 12, 13 if you count 0. Every impulse the Confederates go, they got to roll a dice. Roll 2 dice. If the dice roll is less than or equal to the current number of the impulse, the day ends, and you move ahead on the game turn track to the next day. You do your night phase, and then you move ahead to the next day, and you reset the thing back down to the 0 impulse and start over. Well, 3 turns, I never got past the 7th impulse. So that means the Confederates only got about 4 impulses. All right. So that hurt, because they really needed to get more of those impulses. Does that rule, that die rule, represent any historical aspect? That could say, well, I don't remember if the Nationals had weather or not in this game, but that could maybe say, okay, weather came in, it was too bad to move. Leaders got sluggish, because we knew Jackson had some trouble here. Jackson actually didn't do his job, apparently, as efficient as he was in the Valley until Malvern Hill. It turns out he was the only formation that was in the proper starting space when the fight for Malvern Hill started. But other than that, apparently he wasn't real efficient through this whole fight. So, all right. So this is Birth of a Legend, Lee in the 7 Days. This is a fun play, not an expensive game. Like I say, they against the odds, they still have these in stock. I think they're another one of those companies that maybe doesn't have out of print games. I don't know. Haven't looked at everything they've owned. I got a few by them. Birth of a Legend, Lee in the 7 Days. This one here is going to be a Union victory. I'd say fairly handily, because they were able to delay the Confederates and Bobby Lee just with enough distance between their front line and Malvern Hill, so that now I don't think the Confederates can even get in there. Like I said, we're going to play the one more turn, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to make it here. So, but yeah, there you have it. This is a Mike Rinella game from ATO. Just came out in magazine number 32. All right, so you get the magazine and the game. Looked like the price on it was just about $35. I'd say that's pretty much worth it. Good clean counters, easy to look at map. There's no combat charts, because it's differentials on the dice rolls with whatever benefits you get on each side. Attackers get leaders, and you get pluses on the die rolls for extra units. Defender's going to get the terrain, the defensive die roll modifier that's in the hex they're in, or in the space they're in. They might get a +1 for the enemy attacking across a major river, or there's just maybe for entrenchments you get a +1 or a +2 for entrenchments. But pretty easy play, not hard to read the rules, just a few pages of rules, and you're off and playing this thing. So once again, Birth of a Legend, Lee in the 7 Days. Let's get this up so you can see that, hey, Hexie played a game to the end, because Gettysburg 77, that might be 3 months before I get to the end of that, if I make it that far. Still having fun with that game, so it's not coming off the table yet, even though I got an urge to play some World War II. All right, we'll talk to y'all soon.